Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth,
And I'm Coach Victoria.
and in this video we're going to be talking to you about no contact
It's the
principles.
principle. It's all about the principle.
Listen up, people. There are people going through breakups every single day, and now when they come online, they are bombarded by literally probably 100 trillion coaches that teach it 100 trillion ineffective ways. And we're going to tell you why the way we teach it is the most effective. This is important. Okay, I know when you come online, you're going to hear so many people talking about no contact and all these different ways about doing it. A lot of it is toxic, a lot of it is immature, and a lot of it does not allow for your ex to miss you and for you to heal in the right way that it makes it actually a lot more conducive for you to turn things around.
Right. And what I see from some of you, from some of the clients, is I see you make a decision as to what you're going to do with your breakup, but then you hear advice from somewhere else. Maybe you talk to a friend, and then the principles kind of get a little bit blurry, and you're saying, oh, okay, well, let me just do it this way, right? And then it turns up into a whole big mess, crossing boundaries. Your ex is angry, you have a restraining order. So while this is a very general video and we talk about this, every relationship is different. We can't just say apply this to all. Of course, there's going to be nuances. In this video, we thought we would make a concise list of the principles that we teach in no contact generally.
Yes. Very important. Okay? And listen, we're going to explain why you want to do these things. Because I literally saw a comment the other day that just said, I can't believe you're the first coach to actually explain why you want to do it the way that you're teaching it and how we teach it.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a method to everything that we're teaching you, and if you think it through logically, you'll understand why. Now, if you let your anxiety take over, everything inside you is going to say, look for excuses to connect, look for reasons to contact them, look for reasons to break no contact. But unfortunately, those things usually make the situation worse.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So where do we want to start with?
All right. No contact starts when your partner breaks up with you. So this is in an ideal world. I know many of you come to the channel already sometime after a breakup has happened. You might have already made some mistakes. You might have already crossed some boundaries or begged or pleaded or grand gestured, whatever it might have been. And you're here now. This isn't an ideal world, right? So ideally, when your partner breaks up with you, you end that conversation politely, and that is the moment where you decide, I'm going to give this person the space that they need to recover, along with giving myself that space.
Now, one way to look at it is no reach out. Okay? If I could change the term no contact, I would change it to no reaching out. Because when you hear the word no contact, you assume that you don't want your ex to contact you or that it's a bad thing that they contact you. No, that's a good thing. We just don't want you reaching out to them. And we're going to get into why in a minute.
Right. Now, some of you get broken up with, go through a breakup from a text. You receive a text from your partner, right? So we're not saying after that text you never say anything again. Reply to the text, be polite, be able to manage that decision that they're giving you. And then from that moment forward, decide to give them that space. So that's what we're saying. Some of you are having this conversation in person with your partner. And so in that case, you want to let them know whenever they're ready to be able to reach out to you if they're available for a relationship and if you're available for a relationship. And other than that, creating that space. You don't want to tell someone, yes, I'm going into no contact now in an ideal situation.
Yes, you don't want to tell them.
I know sometimes, especially with the emotions that come up, we feel this sense of we need to have something concrete, and we'll say, I'm never going to bother you again, or you don't ever have to talk to me again.
No,
right?
don't be dramatic.
We say those kind of things. Just, give them the opportunity to reach out to you if and when they're ready. And that's the moment where you decide, all right, now it's no contact. Now I have to leave them alone. I have to let them experience their decision.
Okay, so no reaching out. First of all, it is the most confident thing you can do. Hands down. Okay? From a biological perspective, if you think about human beings and how we've lived over the thousands of years, okay, when you show that you can handle the wilderness, surviving on your own, it is the most confident thing you can do. Okay? If you're relying on other people to take care of you, it shows, in a way, unconsciously, you're showing to them that they are more confident than you. You want to show that you are the most confident person that you can be. So when you stop reaching out, you are showing that you can overcome that biological drive to need to connect to them, okay? And that shows that you can handle life. You can handle whatever comes your way, the dangers that come. Obviously, in more modern times, it's not quite the same, but there's a biological component to no reaching out and allowing that person the space to get separation anxiety from you. This is very important. You want them to feel the space and get anxious. Okay, right now you are overwhelmed with the anxiety and everything inside of you is to reconnect with them. But when you do that, it shows that you need them more than they need you.
Right.
Okay, unconsciously. Okay, so that's a very critical component as to why you're not reaching out. Okay?
Right. And that's the biological side.
Yes.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. That's that side. Now, on the different perspective, I think about setting precedents. You also want to set the precedent that you are not going to chase after this person or disrespect their decision or beg and plead. Sometimes I see people in these on and off relationships that go on for a very long time. Neither party is really satisfied in their relationship because they just expect the breakup to happen like the last breakup and the prior breakup and the breakup before that. And so every interaction that we have with our partner, we are sending a message. If you are in no contact, you are sending the message of when you make a decision and tell me, I'm going to respect it and I can handle myself confidently.
Now, you're going to see a lot of other people say to do things like a handwritten letter, a clean slate message, a good reminder text. All of that is more insecure, weaker behavior. Does it work sometimes? Yes. Is a broken clock right twice a day? Yes. Occasionally, those things work. However, in most cases, it makes things worse, and it's not a risk you want to take. So this is why we tell you, stop trying to do it. It's manipulative, okay? It's not respecting yourself, it's not respecting them, and it's not showing confidence, right?
Right.
And some of you are going to get restraining orders based on some of these coaches, honestly.
This video is how to not get a restraining order. All right, so another really important principle is that no contact is indefinite. We hear a lot of different information out there about 30 days, 60 days. If your ex does this, then respond like this. Or if they post a provocative story on Instagram, then reply like this. As we teach it, no contact is indefinite. No reach out is indefinite.
That's right. Sometimes, see, when you hear the word contact, no contact, sometimes people think, they get scared. Oh, my ex contacted me within those 30 days. I'm supposed to ignore them.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that people actually taught this for a long time?
Yeah.
Till we came along. Now they dare not get mocked.
Right.
Or dare they?
Right.
No, but seriously, think about it. If your ex is reaching out to you and they want to make a bid to connect with you, ignoring them may make them feel like they can't reach out to you again. Like, it's a big risk to ignore somebody. Or sometimes people will say, ignore them unless they say something significant. Well, people are making a bid to connect, and sometimes that is a big deal for them to do. Right. They're afraid you hate them or that you don't want to talk to them. So when you don't reply, it might kind of confirm to them that their fear is accurate and they should leave you alone.
Right.
Now, we don't want you to get breadcrumb. That's a very different situation, but you've got to be careful about ignoring somebody.
Right. And this brings us to our next principle of do not ignore your ex. Now, I assume that everybody watching this video is trying to repair things with their ex, right?
Yeah.
Just to make it clear. So
should I ignore them if I never want to talk to them again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are trying to repair it, then you don't want to ignore them, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we're talking about. That bid for connect is really important to meet. And actually, the Gottmans talk about this a lot, that term bid for connection. I think it's also Susan Johnson.
Yeah.
That talks about that too. But in their research, they found that one of the things that makes a relationship successful and happy and satisfying is the partner's ability to pick up on those little bids for connection.
Yeah.
And be able to respond to what the other person is doing and saying. And they found that couples that don't survive longevity, a lot of times they dismiss the other person, or they ignore, they kind of bulldoze over their partner, right? And so even in a breakup, we are using relationship skills. Some people would argue in the more hippie world that breakups aren't an end, but a transformation of a relationship. You know, that person is still out there. You're still relating to them if they are reaching out to you. And so you want to be sure that you're treating the other person with respect. You don't want to ignore your ex, just as you wouldn't ignore somebody that you love and respect.
No, of course you don't want to do that, because obviously your situation is unique from a lot of different people watching this video, as to why they wanted to end it. But ultimately, if you're going to try and repair something, you want to act like an adult.
Right. And you want to hear them out, right?
Yeah,
you
of course.
Be able to give them that space to share whatever it is that they want to say if you're trying to repair things, right?
Yes. Okay, so next principle.
Next principle is, and we've touched on this earlier in this video, but no contact is to give your ex space to heal and to give you space to heal.
Yes.
So sometimes in no contact, our anxiety goes up. We naturally start to obsess and stalk sometimes, cyber stalk, right? And so one of the
Sometimes.
every minute,
People are
right?
trying to watch this video and cyber stalk at the same time.
They got 5 screens up. One's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Half the people just like, oh man,
White
I'm
pages.
busted.
And so this is another really important principle. You know, we talk about this all the time. We have probably tons of videos on this topic alone. Doing personal growth, working on your emotional health, healing, learning about your attachment style, working on your relationship skills. All of these things are so important to do while in no contact. What you do in no contact matters. It's not just a waiting period. It's not just doing nothing. It's not just sitting back and hoping for the best, right? It's actively working on making yourself a better partner.
Absolutely. You have to take a step back and look at who you were and hold yourself accountable. Now, many of you were good partners, but there's always room for growth. Nobody's perfect, okay? And when you learn about attachment theory, and this is why I've been talking about it since I launched the channel, when you learn about that stuff, it gives you insight into yourself. It gives you insight into the other people that you're dating, and it helps you really have an enlightened understanding of your connection and how to nurture it and care for people. Okay? That is what love is really about. And so now that, therapists have brought this into the mainstream, a lot more people are educated about it. And guys, always look to see that somebody's educated, because, they tend to be more research-based and, spend a long time studying something.
Right, and can bring in the other aspects of mental health that are often very involved in relationships.
As opposed to the 15,000 coaches who learned it from our channel.
I mean, we're a reputable source if you ask us, the source.
It's true. I mean, we are reputable, of course. However, it's like, would you rather go to a doctor to get yourself checked out, or you want to go to somebody who watches doctors on YouTube? Go to Dr. YouTube.
All right, so this is the time to rebuild your confidence. We had talked about how confidence is so important in no contact. This time that you spend in no contact working on these things is important. And that leads us to our last principle, which is very important, and that's you want to show your ex that you've changed. You don't want to tell them. And when you can show them, you don't have to tell them, right?
Yeah. And don't reach out to tell them you've changed, because that's really just unconsciously telling them that you haven't changed, because you're not really listening or respecting yourself or all these other things that we've talked about. You're showing that you're insecure, that you can't live without them, that you're not hearing what they had to say, especially for many of you who have broken no contact or reached out to your ex many times at the start of the breakup. And listen, I've been there. I've made all those mistakes. So when I tell you these things, I have talked about openly how many silly things I tried at my breakup years ago, and, how embarrassing it is. But, the information wasn't out back then to understand these things. You guys are so lucky to have so many great videos. I mean, we have 2,000 videos out at this point on 2 separate channels that can really enlighten you and, you know, focus on the growth. Don't watch what they're doing every single day. Don't obsess about where they're at, what they're doing every day. And that will get you to a good place for when they do reach out, okay? In my experience, you're going to be a lot more likely to turn this around or turn your breakup around when they reach out to you and you can authentically show them that you have changed without trying to manipulate.
Right. And life has a funny way of working. Sometimes you run into an ex. For some of you who live in maybe the same city or the same town, sometimes you don't even live in the same city or town and you end up running into them.
Yes.
So you never know what will happen next. Here, we can't give you any kind of guarantees. We can't give you a guarantee on if your ex will come back, when they will come back, if they reach out, if they won't reach out. But what we can say is we can try to put you in the best position possible to repair that relationship. And if anything, bare minimum, which we think is a pretty good bare minimum, is if you're able to rebuild yourself. If you're able to leave this breakup feeling more confident, understanding yourself better, understanding mental health better. So this is really our goal. We want to spread this information. I'm glad that a lot of this information is a lot more accessible. We wanted to put our ideas in this concise video. We have both studied clinical counseling. We've also both worked in community mental health settings. So we have a unique perspective that we hope can be helpful to you.
And we had probably one of the most brilliant supervisors you could ever hope to ask for with Margaret.
And she had years of experience.
You guys don't even understand how brilliant Margaret really was.
She devoted her life to this. Yeah.
And even in our community, when I worked with her in the agency, all the different agencies in the area would look up to Margaret. And when we would have a meeting with all these different agencies to review very, very, very difficult cases, they were looking at Margaret, like, for how do we handle this? I had supervisors that were going to Margaret. I had people that were running agencies going to Margaret because she was just incredible. And we had more time with Margaret than anybody.
Yeah.
And she said that. We had more time with her one-on-one learning stuff over the years than any people she had ever worked with.
And I often think, even still on these calls, what would Margaret say here?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say it. Well, if Margaret was here, she would say exactly this.
Yeah. I do that too. So understand that we have our framework and everything that we teach and talk about is through an understanding of mental health and incorporating mental health. And that's why we talk about attachment styles, because mental health and attachment styles and dating and relationships, they're all kind of together, right? It's all linked together.
Right.
Right.
And so we understand there's many different kind of situations, many different kind of breakups. And so that's why we're here to help. And we're hoping that this video could enlighten you some too.
And hopefully it will keep some of you from making those mistakes and excuses to reach out and try and manipulate your ex because you're scared. I can tell you, focus on the creative healing course when you're scared. Sit down and do it. Instead of watching how many times they've posted on Instagram or they've logged on to WhatsApp or Facebook and you know that you're doing it, instead of doing that, sit down and do the course for half an hour at a time. At the end of that week, a month, 6 months, you're going to feel like a completely different person. And it will change your life. People tell me, and this is what I love to hear, when they say, I would rather be who I am now than have my ex back and be that old version of me. That's how you know somebody truly has committed to the growth, that they love who they are because of this breakup more than being with somebody and living in that toxic or unhealthy situation. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And we have tons and tons and tons of videos on no contact for when you doubt yourself or you doubt what we're telling you because other people are giving conflicting information. We go in depth into explaining those things so you can see the logic behind it and make an informed decision. Okay?
Well said.
All right. So if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available.
I'm here.
For Zoom calls.
Whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
and we will talk with you soon.